Hi, my friends. Welcome to this episode of the Magical Musical Tour. Today, we're going to be talking about how the circle of fifths and circle of fourths applies to the guitar fingerboard. All right. So this is going to apply to electric guitars, classical guitars, acoustic guitars, of course, and bass guitars. All right. So before we begin, if you would please subscribe to this channel. And when we're all said and done, if you like this video and found it helpful, if you would like it, that would be great. Also, I want you to know that this is a level 1 music theory program. So if you are an intermediate guitarist or an advanced guitarist, you may not find the information in this video helpful, but you are certainly welcome to hang with us. If you are a new guitar player, or maybe you're a pretty decent guitar player, but you never really learned theory, this program will be helpful to you. Also, if you have not watched the video on the circle of fifths and the circle of fourths, you need to go and do that before we try to apply it to the guitar. Okay. So I will put a link in the description box below to my video on the circle of fifths and the circle of fourths. Okay. Having said all of that, let's begin. So, first thing that we want to make sure of, and I'm just as a guitar teacher, as a music teacher, I have found over the years that students either don't know the names of their strings or they have learned them backwards. So, first thing we want to do is know that on a guitar, the first string is the skinny E string, not the fat E string. Okay. This would apply, by the way, to any of these stringed instruments. When we're doing strings on a stringed instrument, it always goes from floor to ceiling. Okay. From this string to this string, not the other way around. So we have E, B, G, D, A, and E. So we're going to be using just the A string and the E string today, the fifth string and the sixth string. Next, I want you to notice that on your fingerboard, there are typically 4 dots, okay? And these dots are called position markers. We're going to call them dots, and they are on the odd numbers. So on this guitar, you'll see I have one on 3, 5, 7, and 9. On some guitars, there's another one at fret 1. That is not an official position marker. That's just a decorative dot that the manufacturer decided to use. Some guitars do not have a dot on the 3rd fret. Again, that's a decorative choice by the manufacturer. Some manufacturers put 2 dots at the 7th fret. Typically, however, there is 1 dot on the fingerboard and on the edge of your neck on the 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret. And then there's 2 dots typically at the 12th fret. And you can see on my guitar, there's a decorative inlay here, but generally it's 2 dots. Okay. And we'll talk about that in a future video. But right now, we are only going to be using these frets going up to the 12th fret today. All right. So 3, 5, 7, 9, those are our dots. First thing that we want to learn is that on the A string, the 5th string, the first dot is a C. Okay. And if we go up the dots and stay in alphabetical order, we will have C, D, E, and then the last one, the 4th dot, is F sharp. Okay. So C, D, E, F sharp. If we do the same thing on the E string, we will have G, and then alphabetically A, B, and again a sharp, C sharp. So G, A, B, C sharp. Now, the only tricky part about this, and it's not too tricky, but we're going to start at C again on the A string, and all we're going to do is alternate strings. So we're going to be going from the A string to the E string, A, E, A, E, A, E, all the way up the neck of the guitar. So we're going to integrate C, D, E, F sharp with G, A, B, C sharp, just like this. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. And if you are already familiar with the circle of fifths or you have watched the other video, you will know that that is the order of the circle of fifths: C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. Not only is that helpful in learning more about how to use the circle of fifths, but that's going to prove very helpful in navigating the fingerboard in future videos. Okay, so remember, the circle of fifths goes up the odd numbered frets, which are where the dots are 3, 5, 7, 9. The circle of fourths goes back on the even numbered frets. So we'll be playing 8, 6, 4, and 2. So once again, the circle of fourths is F, and then remember the next four spelled bead: B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and then we have G flat and C flat. Remember, the circle of fifths ends with C sharp. The circle of fourths generally ends with C flat, although there is theoretically an F flat. We will not be using that today. So circle of fourths, C flat; circle of fifths, C sharp. So we know that the ninth fret on the A string is an F sharp: C, D, E, F sharp. If we move that back one fret, we now have an F natural, which is on the eighth fret. So we are going to do the circle of fourths going back and alternating strings, just like we did going up with the circle of fifths. So we start on F, then we're going to go down to the sixth fret, and we're going to go to the E string, B flat, and then back to the A string, E flat, then to the E string, A flat, then to the A string, D flat, then to the E string, G flat, then back to the A string, C flat. So we have F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. There's the circle of fourths, all working within the context of these dots. We're either on the dots or we're in the spaces between the dots. Okay. Circle of fifths on the dots: C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. Circle of fourths in between the dots, going back: F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. All right, my friends. So watch this video a couple of times, get that nailed down so that you can use it for navigating later. And I appreciate you tuning in. If you did like this video and found it beneficial, please like it and share it with somebody else you know who's trying to learn this as well. That would be great. Thank you, my friends, and I will see you next time on this magical musical tour. Peace.